the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave out through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the brave?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Freedom Network. I'm Gary Rosenberg, your host. So glad that you decided to join us once again. We are back. Yeah, we weren't here last week, but we're back once again. TimOrGary@gmail.com is how you get right on into the email. The phone number, of course, is right up on the screen for you. More than welcome to join. Any topic, any time. You know that. We always run some open lines here unless we have something specific going on. But you can talk about whatever you like. Local, state, federal, doesn't matter. We got the Facebook group. If you want to be in that group, just send me an email, and I'll send you a link. You can find it attached to my name if you can find me on Facebook, but if you send me an email, I can certainly send you a link. Exciting news I have for you about our website. We are back up and running. We're still working out some of the bugs, but our master technical guru, Donnie, seems to have fixed the problem that was plaguing us for quite some time. So now you can join the over 100,000 people that have already joined our website. No charge, of course, to join. Don't worry about that. As we update and rework the site, you're going to see some amazing and revolutionary things that are going to happen in the world of social media, and you can be a part of it. So you can join up now. Come along for the ride. Come along for the ride. Okay? The website is americasfreedomnetwork.com, and it's 100+ thousand people and growing every day. So as we build up different components of the Freedom Network, join them all. Get involved with the Facebook, and that we just kind of started really putting some focus on getting some people in there. And we'd like to get a whole lot more people in that group. There is a page that we had toyed around with, didn't really go anywhere. The website took off with flying colors. We did it for about, I don't know, what was it, maybe 4 months or so, maybe 3.5 months. And then we were hacked out of existence. But we've been brought back from the dead by Donnie, and you can start to sign up again, and you'll just give an email. You don't need anything to sign up. And ultimately the goal will be that we can notify you via that emails and just by clicking into the website about all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, you can register or learn how to register to vote on it. You can find out about different politics and things. Some of the stuff up there right now, albeit, yes, it's a little bit old. We just got it back up. But I wanted to let you know immediately. So yeah, you can join the many, many, many tens and tens and tens of thousands of people. Last record I think that we had was about 120,000 people was the actual number that have already joined the website. So check that out, americasfreedomnetwork.com. You can go there and check it out, and it will update over the next several weeks. And as we come into the fall, we will really be pushing that. And there's some great, exciting stuff, social networking and social media wise that you've never seen before, that you are going to slowly start to see incorporated and linked into this site that is going to in all honesty, could change the platform of politics in the country. We've had, like I said, an amazing immediate response to it, so we want to continue it. I was at a Tea Party event last week. It was a great time. I wanted to thank Matt O'Brien. I wanted to thank Chris Mader for inviting me to speak. As I have some topics here tonight, I don't always speak the way anybody wants me to speak. I just speak the way I speak. I will fight the right. I will fight the left. I will fight anybody that wants to insult or make less of value out of our Constitution. That's my deal. That's what I'm into. And I'm into freedom. And I'm into the freedoms that it says. So when I see the right doing the wrong thing, I'm going to call it out. See, that's the difference between me and a liberal. That's the difference. The liberals can't call out the left. They can't do it. I think their left arm, or is it their right? Is it the, let me see. Is it the left leg and the right arm that just falls off if a liberal should question Obama or anybody of the left? I think it is. I may have it backwards. Anyway, we had a lot of emails since our last show here. I got a few highlights for you. Emily emails in, Gary, I can't stand the direction of America. It seems as though everything we fought against to make this country is now here today. Emily, you're right about that. Keep pushing and never back down. I won't, Emily. George says the Freedom Network is great. Thank you, George. I love how you don't stand with a party in particular, but more with an ideology, and you stand with America first. I totally respect that. I agree in many cases the Republicans can be the best way to go, but in reality, most are just part of the machine. Yeah, George, it's so true. They really are just, they have become part of the machine. I mean, they got a majority, and they went in, and they funded all the stuff that Obama wanted to do. This is craziness. That's what this is, just simple craziness. Robert says, hey, what's going on, Gary? I follow you from Texas. I wanted to say hello, and I hope you'll be back on again soon. Robert, I am here. I emailed you to let you know I would be, so I'm glad that you joined in all the way from Texas. In the summertime, we do every other week, sometimes 2 in a row. We may miss 2 in a row. It can be spotty with vacations, etc., but we'll be here. So get in the group on Facebook, check the web. You get times and days. I try to post it every day that we're going to be on. I make sure I post something on there in as many places as I can. All right, Walter. Walter. This is another one of these. You'll never read this on the air. Walter, I do read them on the air. And in some reasons that I do read emails on the air with people that are from the left is because I want people to see that you really exist. I also want people to understand that all views are welcome here on the Freedom Network, not unchallenged, but welcome. Emailer, Kyle, Gary, welcome back. Kyle, good to be back. All right, Walter, here we go. Gary, we need another term of Obama. This country has grown too big to be what it was founded to be. We need to open the borders, distribute the good life, and help everyone. We should not have a monopoly on freedom, and we need to understand that we have to give up some of our freedom so that others can have some also. I do not agree with you on politics at all, but I watch the show. I yell at the TV, but I do watch the show. Well, Walter, I'm glad that you watch the show. I'm glad that you watch the show. I enjoy having you here. It's nice for you to be here. But I don't understand why you want to take my freedom, Walter. I'm just reading your comments here. I mean, why do I have to give up freedoms for other people to be free? Doesn't make any sense at all to me, Walter. Obama should serve a third term, all right, and probably in a federal penitentiary is probably where he should serve more terms, if you're looking for more terms for him. Maybe 2. How's that? Walter, look, I don't mind differing opinions, but I have no tolerance for those that openly want to make America a socialist country. I'm sorry, but, I'm glad you tuned in. I hope you continue, but there's no way that I'm going to give up any more freedoms than I've already given up. I mean, I'm reading through the rest of your email here. No matter what the less, no matter what, right? The less free that we have become has not made anyone else more free. Has it? I mean, as they take away our rights in the United States of America, are rights immediately given to those that don't have them? I don't understand the premise of what you're trying to say. I just don't get your view at all, Walter, but I'm glad that you emailed. Thanks for watching. I hope you continue to do so. All right, what else we got here? Just one more I think I'll go through. Pam says, Gary, you hit this stuff spot on. It's so nice to have a common sense and refreshing look at things. You always seem to amaze me when you explain things because you just make it make sense, guy. Thanks for being here. Well, thank you for being there, Pam. I appreciate it. And that's what, I'm a regular guy. I'm not an Ivy college educated type of a guy. I've made my way about, done okay. Got a wonderful family, wonderful wife, son, great family, extended people that I'm with. And, I see myself as incredibly wealthy, but wealthy in the right ways and successful in the right ways. And thank God I've had a degree of success. But you know what, Pam? I'll tell you, the reason I explain things the way I do, and maybe sometimes I misspeak a word, I'll mistype on Facebook, is because I am just that average guy. That's who I am. I'm that just every man in America. I'm just another guy that's just going through things, that's got the guts to come out here and just tell it like I see it. Some people agree, some people don't. But Pam, I'm glad you're there. And Walter, I'm glad you're there too. All right, so thanks. Keep them all coming. Many of you say you like the open mind that I have and the way I call it out on all sides. Well, tonight, after our first topic, I want to get into something first, but after that, I'm going to be doing just that. I might break some ranks with the right. Liberals, take note. You don't have to always just walk the party line. You can have your own opinions. So please wake up. Think for yourself if you're on the left. That's all I ask. Just think for yourself. I debate people on Facebook constantly. A common theme. You can go from one thread to the next thread. You can go through comments from 5 days ago to 5 minutes ago. And amazingly, on the left, you always find the same verbiage. It's like there's a book passed out. There's something. I think that this thing is falling apart on me, man. Did you see that? Were you able to see that? I think the desk just dipped a little bit, but that's okay. This is live TV. We just keep going on. But anyway, what gets me, I think the most when it comes to people not thinking for themselves is I don't understand why. On thread after thread, on debate after debate, and blog after blog, I'm all over the place out there. And I'm going to tell you something. It's the same stuff. It's like there is a book or a piece of paper that gets emailed or whatever it is to liberals, only liberals, because I don't get them. But it's amazing how from the NBC Nightly News down to some guy in who knows where America, the verbiage is the same. And some of these are very educated people that don't realize that they're in some type of a fog, that they've been brainwashed to a degree to think certain things. And they always laugh at me and they say, you think I'm brainwashed. But it's evident in the verbiage and in the what they say, what they do, their actions, and how they look at things. It's all the same. There is no varying opinion. Now, on the right, you've got what? 350 people trying to get the Republican nomination. No, but seriously, you've got a wide variety of people, and a lot of them disagree on a lot of issues. That's because the right is not like this. The left is just, that's it, man. You're in it, issue after issue, day in, day out, the same stuff over and over, until you brainwash another one, then you brainwash another one. God forbid somebody decides that they want to think for themselves. Woo! I know you guys don't like that. I know you don't like it. All right. Anyway, we'll get into all that stuff. First, though, I want to talk about sex offenders. That's what I want to talk about. Not that it's a pleasant topic, but it's something that we do need to talk about. Now, here in Northbridge, which is where we're broadcasting out of, we have 9 registered sex offenders in our town. Small town. Excuse me. Yeah, we do. Some people don't know that, but we do. It's on. You can go to the web and you can find that. It's all right at the Northbridge Police Department website, pictures and everything. They range, I think, from levels 1s to 3s, like normal, in any town. Not that that's normal, but you know what I mean. There's different degrees of sexual offenders. Level 1 can be something as little as like using the bathroom outside. You've now exposed yourself to the public. You technically could be a sex offender. To a level 3 that is a repeat and dangerous offender. Huge difference for sure. So, does the town that you live in have any bylaws that lay out some rules for level 2 and level 3 sexual offenders? I just asked a question because I would have thought that every town would. And you would think that your town does. But if you live in Northbridge, it doesn't. And chances are, if you live in Massachusetts, your town probably doesn't either. In Massachusetts, I think there's about 30, give or take, don't quote me, that have such bylaws in place. There are what, 351, is that what the number is? Something like that? Towns and cities in Massachusetts? Why would you need bylaws? This is a common question. And it's a good question, because one would figure that when they get out of prison, they're put on probation and then they would be restricted for life from A, B, C, or D. Each email coming in. Gary, I've been waiting to hear about this. Thanks. Don't use my name. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. In some cases, it's true that they will have restrictions when they get out. But it's not true in all cases. And additionally, probation usually is not a thing for life. Sometimes it could be, but it's not usually for life. So when the state has some laws that they have, and they're mostly in regards to having to register. Who needs to register? By who? By when? What if I move? What if I go from one town to the next? What if I'm homeless? This, that, the other. There's all kinds of rules out there. But unfortunately, there's none in the state that say you can't live across the street from the school. It leaves it up to individual cities and towns to enact further laws if they feel that they need to enact such laws. So let me give you a little perspective here. In Northbridge, there was a registered sex offender at or near a school or a bus stop. The police were called. A citizen recognized the person from the sex offender registry. They could not make him move along. And the reason given was because there's no law against him being there. And it did not violate any probation that he had. There's a sexual offender in this town that was parading around on Facebook, folks, with a false name, because he wasn't supposed to be on Facebook. Yeah, there's no law. No law in the books on this town. And maybe your town, if you're from another area, that allows the police to remove these dangerous people from areas where kids and also the elderly, which are the two most common groups that are affected by this just awful crime. To me, it's unacceptable. So what do? Well, I'll tell you what we do. We pass a bylaw. Yes, and you can do it in your town also. And we're going to do it in this town. Now, I've spoken with some people in town government and some people in town departments, and there seems to be support for something like this. I mean, why wouldn't there be, right? How is there not support for it? I mean, it seems to me that it should be something that's supported. And there's a process that we need to go through, and that includes filling out some paperwork and submitting some things into town hall. It has to be voted on at a town meeting. We have one in the fall that's coming up. I've been working to try to get this to be on and up for vote at that meeting. I don't want to wait and have to either call another meeting or just wait because it's just too much. It's just too long. In the interim, things could happen. In Northbridge, I believe, I don't know if he was spotted in Northbridge or not, but right around in our surrounding towns. Remember the guy in the van? No law. No law. So, let me see here. I guess the process pretty much sums up like that. I've been working with Elizabeth. Some of you know Elizabeth on this. And I will work with anyone that wants to help make this a reality. We need a small amount of signatures, but in all reality, I'd like to submit the thing with thousands of signatures just to show the town the support that we have for it. But we're going to fill out the form. We're going to submit it in the next probably 10 or 15 days. That's probably rough outline. Our goal is to get as much support for it as we can, both within and outside of the government. So do you support it? If so, get info and show support. Email me here right at the show, tim@gary@gmail.com. Let me know that you support it. When you do email you, I'll send you a link to the group that I started. There's a Facebook group called Protect Our Children that you should definitely be involved with. I want to get as many people as we possibly can in the group, so tell your friends. I want to ensure that we show the strength and determination that we're, not that we want to get this done, but we're getting it done. It's going to get done. Get it on the next warrant, which I believe closes, I've heard the very beginning of September, the first few days of September, or the very end of August, so we don't have a ton of time. And we get it voted on in the next meeting, the next town meeting, which will be in the fall. And this is going to take some work. So I'll keep updates on Protect Our Children. If you want them via email, just let me know. But we're going to need some help with some things, maybe along the way. I know that we only need, I think, 10 signatures to actually file something to try to put it on there. And then, of course, it's got to be voted on. Like I said, I would like to go with thousands if I could, but I want to go with as many as we can. One way to gauge that is in that group. I know there's a lot of people out there in town on Facebook. Trust me, you can see the numbers in some of the groups. And you should start your own. Now, Protect Our Children can stay on when we're successful in doing this. And we will be successful in doing this. Once we are successful, we will open this up and this process and our knowledge to any other towns, especially in Massachusetts, but anywhere. If you want to get information on it, you can join the group too. You can watch us, you can follow it, and then we can maybe help you get something done in your town as well. Look at a few stats on sexual offenders. If you have any comments on this, let me know. You have any emails on this, send them in. Just send them in. Send in a show of support, whatever that may be. There's a database in Massachusetts showing about 4,800 registered sex offenders in Massachusetts. It's a ratio of over 7 per 10,000. Records indicate 964 incarcerated sex offenders in Massachusetts, as well as 908 whose location is unknown due to the offenders being transient or their address being unmappable. I would think that's homeless. Many of these are level 2 and 3. And that means the likelihood of reoffending is probably rather high. We got a call online? Alrighty. We have a call online. Let's take the call. I just got to hit the right button here. Here we go. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on the Freedom Network. How are you?
Hey, good evening, Gary. Great show tonight.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, I just want to let you know I've also heard some news on the bylaw that you're considering, and it may be advantageous, to let the listeners know what members of the Board of Selectmen actually helped you guys on this. And years ago, I was involved in something relative to the DPW facility, and the town moderator helped out immensely with getting an article on the town meeting warrant. So I think that's another avenue for your group. He's very helpful, and I think you have a lot of groundswell of support out there for this, and we really hope that this gets accomplished. And I also heard that the Freedom Network may have reached out to the town of Shirley that has a similar bylaw. I don't know if you can comment on that, but definitely, like I said, you have a lot of support, and if you could let the listeners know what members of town government may have helped or not helped you on this, that would be greatly appreciated, and because I think that's something that the registered voters would be very much interested in.
I agree, man.
Go ahead, Gary.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Here's what I can tell you, okay? Mm-hmm. This is what I'll tell you. I have been in contact with people. Mm-hmm. We are going to put what I hope is a unified front out there. We definitely will name names on both sides, but I can't see anybody being against it, like you say. But if they are, I'll certainly let you know who they are. And those that stand up for us and help us will certainly get the thank you and the recognition that they deserve for doing what's right for our town. I'm formulating all that right now, so it's not. I can't really comment on it because I got to get all my facts and ducks in a row before I just start throwing names out there. On your second point, I did contact the town of Shirley. I am waiting for some contact back. Basically, what we want to do is try to model after their law. See, the law that you want to pass has to go to the state, and the state has to say it's okay constitutionally. So in order to do that, or to expedite things, I figured let's find one that's passed state muster, right? Mm-hmm. Shirley's did pass state muster. It's the only one I could find that actually had it in the document. Mm-hmm. Approved by the state, and it's a few years ago that it was approved by the state. Mm-hmm. That's why I was thinking about trying to use that as a model. If the town decides they can make a better one or a different one or whatever it is, as long as it covers those points and we can get it out there for the ballot, I think we're good to go.
Right, and this would actually be a no-brainer, and I really can't see, why. definitely the town council and our town manager should definitely be supportive on this. I know in the past they were reluctant, or they never even got back to you on a lot of questions that the Freedom Network submitted, and you did an excellent job going before them on citizens' comments. I don't know if they ever got back or answered anything, but I really can't see them, not being on board with this, and especially, where the town manager and the town council definitely should be able to work in harmony with you and your group. And like I said, I think a lot of the registered voters would definitely want to be kept up to speed on this. And again, we thank you and your group and yourself for everything you do for the town. And like I said, you have a lot of supporters out there, and you keep up the good work, Gary.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate the kind words. All righty. Frequent caller, always nice, eloquent, good guy. Yeah, I don't have everything in lined up at this point. What I will tell you is the conversations I've had have been positive. And it looks as though this should be something that, like he says, the caller says, it's a no-brainer. This is something that we can do. Do I have bad tastes in my mouth from past experiences? Absolutely. It's politics, though. Like I've said to you folks before, I've been playing this game of cat and mouse with government and politic conversations and stuff like that for as long as I can remember, It's not personal. So, yeah, I can work with anybody on it. And I'll also note out there that Elizabeth has done a lot of work with this. She's been helping to share the information with her groups. And we've even found a way back and a way to work together. I think when we talk about things for the common good, I think everybody just take a breath. Let's do what's right for the kids and for our town, and let's collaborate with each other. Nothing's going to get done if we're just always fighting about it. So we can fight about some things, and that's okay, and we can agree on other things. What we agree on, we should move on. And I think a great example of that, to be quite honest with you, just as Elizabeth and I have been able to rekindle and talk again and get some things going, the same with the government in town. I have no problem calling them. I spoke even to the town manager, I will tell you that. And I don't see that we will have any trouble working together, certainly not on my end. And if that's the case on their end, to the caller's point, you betcha you know what, I will call that right out. But I don't see it as being an issue. So a bunch of emails popping in. Let's see here. Gary, I can't believe that we actually don't have one. Why wouldn't we have one? Why wouldn't anyone have one? In any event, the fact that we don't have one is not a good thing. So whatever you need, signatures or anything else, please call upon me. That comes from Ralph. Thanks, Ralph. I appreciate that. I've got about 15 emails just saying, Gary, this is a no-brainer. Gary, why wouldn't we do it? Gary, of course we support it. All that kind of stuff in there. I also saw one in here from Eric. Eric says, hey, Gary, I enjoy the show. Somewhat off topic. That's fine, Eric. We allow for that. Don't worry about it. I just want your thoughts on presidential election. Are you, let's see here. Oh, I got pop-ups coming. See, I got pop-ups coming. I'm just going to leave that alone because I'm not the most technically savvy guy. I just want your thoughts on the presidential election. Are you a proponent of the electoral college system? My opinion is it has to go. Seems the last few elections have just come down to a handful of states, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, etc. Let's have a majority of the people decide. What do you think? Well, I think two things on it, Eric. First of all, I don't think that the majority... Well, Bill Clinton didn't win a majority, right? But he was elected president. But Obama did win a majority, I do believe, both times. So whether you were with a popular or an electoral, they still won the popular vote. The electoral system as it's set up in the constitutional wording is because we're a representative republic. We are not a direct democracy. It's just not what we are. And I'm a pretty constitutional kind of guy. So that leads me to like that electoral college system. But, Eric, you know what? I've changed and ebbed and flowed on this thing. You hit a topic that one of the few topics I waffle on, because some days I feel like it's good, some days I feel like it's not. But I do think that we've seen, what was there, one time, maybe once or twice, where the electors didn't do what the people had wanted, And how many presidents have been elected without the popular vote? I don't know that we'd see a whole big difference, although Bill Clinton wouldn't have been president the second time or the first time. One of those times he lost the popular vote. But I get the sentiment, Eric, and I probably, if I had to go for it and pick a side, I'd agree with you. Get rid of it. If I had to pick a side, I'd say get rid of it. But I don't want to pick a side. But I guess if I had to, I would say we get rid of it. Because what it does do is it gives... But Eric, I got to tell you something. Don't forget, if New York and California and Texas, let's say, don't have their results in yet, then it's going to come down to those states anyway. They have a lot of people in them. So either way, I think the country is just so expansive. But I get the original point, because the fact of the matter is that somebody lives in a small state like a Rhode Island. What do you ever have to do for Rhode Island if the electoral vote isn't there? I mean, if you're the president, does Rhode Island even matter? They have no citizenry. They are not going to make or break you. So I think that it's kind of like a double-edged issue. But, Eric, I'll go along with you. You want to get rid of it, I won't fight you on it. I won't fight you on it. Anyway, back to the nastiness of sexual offenders. Some say that there's no cure for this, and I do agree. I think if you rape a child or an elderly person, you should live the rest of your days in prison at the very least. At the very least. These are the lowest of the low. They're predators to prey on those that have no chance to fight back. Every town should probably make bylaws that restrict where they can be. It's up to you to protect your community. That's what the state's telling you. And give the police the ability to protect the citizens by not allowing them to hunt. That's what I call it, hunting. They're hunting your kids, for crying out loud, in areas where the most vulnerable gather. And you know what's funny? Everybody's got rights. Even criminals have rights. Even sexual offenders have rights. That's the way America works. But I think that you got to curtail some of those when you look at what happens to children. Children. The elderly. Think of your kids, of your parents. I mean, sickos like that, if the state's not going to lock them up forever and throw away the key, then we got to do something. So let me know. Emails are coming in. I won't be able to read them all on the air about this topic, but I love to see all the support. It's fantastic. You can call in too if you'd like to, but I know we're an email-based show, which is fine. That's fine. Anyway, I'll tell you this. Do you know that here's a good stat. Close to half of sex offenders are child molesters. On average, they've been serving somewhere around 6 to 10 years, I guess, and then they're back out in your community. They're back out living 2 miles from you. You live in Northbridge, you live within 8 miles of one. Some of you live even closer. It's an ugly issue, and it needs to be addressed. And the time to address it is now. So that's what we plan to do. And I thank Elizabeth for all her help in getting people together and stuff like that. Because you gotta do the right thing. That's what you gotta do. We can all fight about politics and all that kind of stuff and all the rigmarole. But at the end of the day, we got to come together on this. So I fully expect to get the support of the town government, any town departments, anybody that wants to voice, and most importantly, you. All right. Let's see. Now, you're going to get mad at me if you're one of these, if you're from the religious right. You may get mad at me. I'm sorry. I'm not beholden. I don't walk a line. I do. It's a constitutional line. That's it. So let's talk about gay marriage. All right, let me ask you a question. This perplexes me. I'm going to use the same type of a argument on two very hot issues today. Gay marriage and also the flag. You know what I'm talking about, the Confederate flag. Hang on. Let me see. Let me read this one. Hey, Gary, glad you're back on. I cannot believe we don't have any of these laws, but you certainly would have my support, and you would have everybody's support. So you and whoever you're doing this with, Elizabeth and whoever else, you've got the support. Go for it. We will show up at the town meeting, and we will vote this in. Great. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so the gay marriage debate rages on, folks. It's just going and going. I mean, things are getting ugly. Priests are threatening to burn themselves alive. Things are getting crazy. Battle lines are being drawn. The right has gone over the edge. They're over the edge. I mean, they're just so over the edge, I can't even believe it. Let me ask you this. Do you think that the government should be giving special consideration to people based on their performing or partaking in a certain religious practice? Do you think that the Constitution even allows for that? It happens every day. When the government decided to give certain rights to people who got married. Now you say, what rights? There are rights. There's a lot of really important things, and it's something that we're going to get into. We're going to dissect this right now. Marriage is a religious thing. Okay, I agree. You cannot get away from that. Folks, you can't, no matter what side you're on this argument. Marriage is a religious thing. It is. It comes from religion. It's about religion. It is. We're not going to mince words about it. I don't think, though, that a priest or a rabbi, because of the recent ruling with the Supreme Court, I don't think that they should be forced to perform marriages. I do not want you to get me wrong here or misconstrue what I'm trying to say to you. Gary, I've been waiting for you to wade in on this topic. Well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to jump in. They should not be forced to do these things. You cannot force religion on somebody, and you should not force what you think on any religion. Period. End of discussion. But I do support the government dispersing benefits fairly and not based on religion. The Founding Fathers did not want a country that was run by religion. They wanted it run by the Constitution. Yes, there were some religious people that founded this country. Deists mostly, by the way. But in any event, these were religious people, and they did take a lot from that Bible and put it into that Constitution. As they owned slaves, they wrote all men are created equal. They just, unfortunately, didn't think that slaves were men. Insane, but that's the way it was back then. But the Constitution clearly says that religion should not run America. And if you read the Federalist Papers, you will learn that the founders actually feared religion ruling this country. Now, these are some facts that I know that the right doesn't always agree with. But they are the facts nonetheless. Forget the nuances that exist around this issue. And look at it like this for a minute. Just let's dive in here. Let's say a person has a bar mitzvah. I had a bar mitzvah. So now they take part in this religious practice. Should they get special benefits for that? Well, we keep saying special benefits, right? Well, why do they allow those that get married to get them? I mean, really, think about it. Really think. I understand the answer. I get the answer because it's about building a nation, and it's about procreation, and it's about families and building a strong unit. And that's why we're going to give you a break if you do this. Nowhere in the Constitution does it tell me that I have to build a family unit. Nowhere in the Constitution does it tell me that I have to build a strong family unit. That's not something I have to do. That's not a requirement of me as a citizen of the United States of America. Now, it's a nice thing, and of course, procreation is going to make you go. Let's just face it. If everybody was gay, there'd be no human race. Okay. I mean, I'll aggravate you all on all sides of this issue, because to me, on both sides, you're all wet. There's something you're all wet on all sides of this. The government allows next of kin decision-making, insurance breaks. You want a family plan? Certain tax advantages, asset allocations, and other things. How about picking beneficiaries? Tax implications on homes. Right down to a car, if you had split one. And these things are only for people that take part in a religious ceremony. What do you think James Madison would think about that? How about Ben Franklin? How about some of the others? Imagine you could ask them what they thought about the government giving these things, those things I just mentioned, to certain people based on religious practice. Think about that for a minute. In the United States of America, based on religious practice, if you follow this religious practice, we will allow you to do A, B, C, and D. But if you don't follow this religious practice, then you cannot do A, B, C, or D. I think if you were to ask the founding fathers, very specifically, Madison, Franklin, absolutely, positively, might have an answer for you like this. In America, you cannot deny people benefits or entitlements based on not believing in a religious event or if you are not in favor of a religion. And you know what, folks? They'd be spot on. Think about that. You cannot deny people benefits or entitlements based on not believing in a religion. Which religion? What religion gets the benefits? Which one doesn't? What practice does? What practice doesn't? How about none? I've sat here and I've advocated to eliminate the capital gains tax. I got 23 emails from people. And I'm going to sit here today and I'm going to tell you you should eliminate any of those benefits then. If your desire is to preserve marriage, which, by the way, I don't see you out on Facebook the way you are today talking about divorce. Is that not an affront to marriage? Is it? The founding fathers would be spot on if you could ask them this question. By giving some people something only for believing in a religion, you deny it to those that don't. And that's where the problem is. That's the problem. And I'll point you out and I'll tell you, if you're thinking that gay marriage should be illegal, it's like an oxymoron. There can't be gay marriage by a religious definition. There just can't be one. It's not sound by religion. It's not kosher, right? It's just not the way it is. And it's all over it's not all over, but it's in the Old Testament. More so even than in the New Testament. But you cannot deny people things because of religious beliefs or non-beliefs. There are very liberal priests out there that will marry a girl and a girl. It can happen. Okay. But no one should force them to. So my feeling is that marriage should be a religious thing, and it should be kept as a religious thing. As far as the government giving out benefits based on what religious practice you do, shouldn't happen. So on that basis alone, I'll come out in support for gay marriage. On a religious note, I'm not for forcing anything into religions. The government had no right to give anyone anything based on religion, and certainly has no right to deny anyone based on religion. It just doesn't. Doesn't have the right, folks. So when the government said marriage will allow you this, the Supreme Court couldn't say. They couldn't uphold that. Not if they're looking at the Constitution. Not if they're looking at the founding fathers' intent of America. And that was a nation full of religion, but not governed by religion. There's a big difference. A big difference. Again, they took what they wanted out of the Bible. And most of it actually from the Old Testament, not from the New Testament, ironically. But there are a lot of religious things about America. And that's fine. I am not an anti-religious person. As a matter of fact, I think religion can be wonderful for people. It can also be detrimental for people. But you know what? Look, it's a cause, right? More people have died in the name of religion than any other cause. People died today. ISIS is killing people because they're Christian. Hitler killed people because they were Jewish or just looked different. There's always going to be hate. There's always going to be problems like that. Why are we getting dragged down into this? Why is the United States of America in a situation where we would have to even approve same-sex marriage? Do you see my point? We shouldn't even be having the discussion because there never should have been any great benefit to the married person that followed a law in a Bible that now translates into being able to file a joint return, being able to make life and death situations for people that you love. The government has no right to give anyone anything based on religion. They just don't. Additionally, I don't care who sleeps with who and who wants to love who. I just don't care. No one gets hurt when two men or two women fall in love or even just have an adult consensual relationship. Who gets hurt? What's the big deal? What happens to you? Right now, there are gay people having a good time. Are you okay? I'm all right. It doesn't affect me. Some things are just not my or your business, nor should they be of the government's concern. You want to absolutely think every gay person's going to go to hell. You want to preach it. You preach it. You want to not allow gay marriage in your religion. Do not allow it. I support you. The religion has to have autonomy. The religion has freedom. And the religion has rights. So what the hell are we arguing about? We're arguing about the government stepping in, once again, where it didn't belong in the first place, which was granting people benefits based on religion. You can't. You just can't. A couple emails coming in. Gary, never thought that you would see it this way. And as a matter of fact, I was really looking forward to disagreeing with you, because I don't often. But today I knew I could. But now, you've made me agree with you. And I'm going to change my opinion on this. That comes from Adam. Adam, it's the way it's got to be. It's a pill some have to swallow, and for someone like me, it's whatever. I just brush it off. It doesn't matter to me. It honestly and truly doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect me. How long has gay marriage been legal in Massachusetts? What's happened? What have been the adverse effects? There's only one thing I know of, and that's that the Christian Charities or something like that has stopped adoptions in Massachusetts because gay people can be married. Okay. That's it. That's it. Nobody's arms and legs fell off. The state didn't plunder into you know what. Gay marriage has been legal now in the United States for a couple of weeks, right? A week and a half, whatever it is. So what? What's happened? What happened? It gets me crazy. It just gets me crazy. It really just gets me crazy. We have so many issues. Who loves who really is not what we need to be worried about as a country right now. But we are. All right, so there you go. Let me read another one. Gary, I disagree, but I do understand where you're coming from. It's a very tough issue. Yeah, it is. And when you put it in the perspective of constitutionality, you do make me think. But I have to support my religion. Well, then support your religion. Support it. Be it. Live it. Love it. Be a priest. Do whatever you want to do. Not only do I support you doing it, I fight for your right to do it. But the government can't make decisions based on somebody's religion. Now, if you're talking about sadism and human sacrifices and things like that, it goes against the Constitution. Folks, use the Constitution. Every time, every issue, every political anything, use the Constitution. You won't have to worry about anything. You'll always find an answer that will suit everybody. Unless, of course, you decide you're going to start making laws and granting people things. All right, this one, no name. What sickened me was the White House rainbow lights, but nothing for the 4th. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Once again, it shouldn't be a political issue. Look, Obama is a complete... the fact of the matter is, folks, the White House shouldn't have been lit up in a gay pride flag. The White House shouldn't have pride in anything but America and everybody in it. All Americans. Equal. The same. Doesn't matter your race, your religion. It doesn't matter. You're an American. And now that they have the system to put lights on the White House, they don't put red, white, and blue. That's because Obama's not a person that loves America. Okay? And he supports things that constantly divide America. I'd like to see the whole thing just scrapped. That's what I'd like to see. Whoever wants to love whoever, go live with whoever, and let's live by the Constitution. Who cares? But I do agree with that emailer. That was disgusting that he's going to support this, but he's not going to throw the American flag. He doesn't like the American flag. I'm sorry. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. I don't care what anybody says. If he liked it, he'd fly it. Why could they had the whole rainbow, but they couldn't put I figured that every holiday or something they could put some lights up on there. It's 2015. I think that's pretty cool. But it's just activism. The president isn't an activist. The president's a leader. Or he should be, but he's not. Let's talk about the Confederate flag. If I've aggravated you, now let me really aggravate you. What does it stand for? Many different things, I guess, right? Well, one that stands out on the right, all over Facebook and all over the blogs, is the states' rights issue. That this means states' rights. This is the craziest thing I've seen in this argument. Okay? It's crazy. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say that if you don't like what's happening, you cut and run. Nowhere. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say that you form a new government if you don't like what the federal government is doing. Nowhere. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say that if you don't like what's happening, you elect new leaders, form a new country. Nowhere. It says nowhere to cut and run. It says the federal government can break. And if you want to get to brass tacks here, folks, it says that when the government breaks, it's your constitutional duty to fix it. And if there's no way to fix it through voting and the legislative process, then you're supposed to take up arms, yes, and fight as Americans, not as Confederate States of America, not under a different flag. Damn it, under the American flag. That's what you're supposed to do. If they followed the Constitution, they would have fought under the American flag. That's what they would have done. They would have stormed the Capitol and demanded constitutional rule. Nowhere does it say to do as they did. Nowhere. I have no issues with the flag being flown by people. You want to fly it, fly it. I don't care. Put it on your car. Make your whole car. The General Lee thing. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. They're going to cancel the show because there's a flag on the top of it. Put it on your car. Tattoo it on your arm. Tattoo it right here. Tattoo it right there. I don't care. Fly it in your yard. Do whatever you want with it. I saw a Facebook picture today with that Confederate flag hanging over the American flag. Disgusted me to no end. It doesn't represent rebellion the way you think it does. Because the rebellion they did was not constitutional. The rebellion they did was not the way you're supposed to do it. And it tells you in the Constitution how to do it. But they didn't do it. Fact of the matter is that they wanted to keep their slaves. Fact of the matter is that they were against central banking. Central banking was as big an issue as slavery. But they don't talk to you about that, of course, in school because they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know the truth that all your money since that happened is worthless. It's worthless. Your money doesn't mean anything. That'll be another show. Johnny Echo, if you're watching, we'll get you on for that show, baby. Fly that Confederate flag wherever you want. I don't care, but it should not be on local, state, or federal property. It just shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be flying it because it's glorifying going against the Constitution. And the people on the right who are constitutionalists are supporting flying a flag that represented not following the Constitution. There are people today that are ready to storm Washington, remove Obama by force, hold new elections, and put in a new government. Reality. That's what they should have done if they felt so strongly about what they were doing. I'm not going to agree. I'm not going to disagree. Both issues for another show when I have less than 5 minutes left. But in the broader case of the Civil War and states' rights, it's not states' rights. The state doesn't have the right to secede from the nation. The state doesn't have the right to make pacts with other states and not with other ones and not with the federal government. Read it. I just read the Constitution for the probably 20th time. Yeah, some parts of it are tough. Some parts of it are boring. But all parts of it are important. And if you read it, you'd know there's no state rights to what they did. It just shouldn't fly. Not public property, because it represents states not doing what they're supposed to do. It's not states' rights, it's abandoning the Constitution. Every issue in politics I put past the Constitution. Nothing that flag represents is American in a constitutional way. And I know I'm aggravating you. I see the emails coming in. Stop with the but Garys. There is no but. This isn't about what you think it's about. And that's the problem, is you're all being swayed. You're all being led like sheep. There are many issues besides slavery. We know that. The Civil War was fought for a lot of reasons, but slavery was part of it, and that's also unconstitutional. And the fact that they wanted and they intended to keep slaves after the war as the Confederate States of America, that's not how it works, guys. So you want to fly this flag for what? What are you trying to say? To me, you're saying the same thing that the far left says, is that we don't care about the Constitution. Folks, between race relations, the flag issue, gay marriage, you have been duped by the government and by the media. They've allowed you to fall, or you've allowed yourself to fall into the trap. They forced you, actually, through the way politicians speak, and the media just repeats it over and over. There is no race war in America. The Confederate flag is not that big of an issue, but it also is not a states' rights issue and should not represent any state, as what they did was not constitutional. Gay people do not want to take over your church. They don't. As a matter of fact, they don't feel welcome there. Do you go where you're not welcome? I don't. Never get sucked in by a vocal minority that is being portrayed as the majority by the media to keep your attention where? Gays, flags, and race. Your eyes are off the ball, and you're playing into their hands. What do you think is really going on while we debate and focus on these issues? What do you think is happening that you don't know about? Where is the news story on American jets having to intercept Russian planes flying into our airspace? You don't see that. You don't hear anything about what's going on with Obama. Benghazi is a non-issue. If Trey Gowdy wasn't around, we wouldn't hear any of this stuff. Keep your eyes on the ball. You're playing into their hands. What do you think is really going on while you're distracted by gays, flags, and race? Could be pretty sad. Folks, my name is Gary Rosenberg. This is the Freedom Network. I want to thank you for tuning in. Check out americasfreedomnetwork.com. Also, get the Facebook information that you need, especially on the sex offender stuff. We need to have a good show of force. I must have 24 emails already that have come in about it. Keep the emails coming. In any event, freedom ain't free. Speak your mind always. This is the Freedom Network. I'm Gary Rosenberg. Until next time, read the Constitution.